Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
This team continues to do it. The team continues to find ways to win hockey games. Now, this was not pretty. Okay, this was definitely not pretty as the Flyers win 5-1. They only had about 14, 15 shots. The game as a whole kind of sucked. There wasn't that much energy involved. It wasn't hard hitting. There weren't too many rushes or big-time plays throughout the game. But listen, I don't care right now. Truthfully, I do not care. I need to see this team get points. I need to see this team beat the squads that are right around them in the standings, and that's absolutely what they did. It's not going to be easy to go into Columbus on Thursday and beat them in their building after putting down a good beatdown here in Philadelphia tonight. 5-1, it's a good beatdown on the scoreboard. Now, as a whole, like I stated, 14, 15 shots in the hockey game. It wasn't this dominating game out of the Flyers, and you can even hear the tone of the players post-game. They aren't really satisfied. They aren't really pumped with how it played out. Now, of course, they're happy to get the points, knowing how crucial every single thing is right now. Every single 2 points is. But it wasn't as if they were satisfied with how they played as a whole. They got some lucky puck bounces, no doubt. Like to start the game off, Kevin Hayes puts a puck on net from around the goal line. It hits off the netminder's head and goes in. What? Huh? Are you kidding me? All right, they'll take it. Joel Farabee, Travis Konecny get the assists on that. Then Sean Couturier, he's on a breakaway. He literally fumbles the puck, and it slides through 5-hole. He was trying to go to his backhand. He did not do that properly, but it slides through the 5-hole anyway. They were getting some puck luck early. 2-0 Flyers. Claude Giroux gets the apple on that goal. It realistically should have been 3-0 after the first period, but Joel Farabee interfered with the goalie and the call got reversed. It was actually a nice play. Travis Konecny slides it over to Ivan Provorov on the backside. That was a nice play, but did Joel Farabee interfere? He did. Was it something that was that crucial to the play? Would the goalie get there anyway? Probably not, but the technicality of it and because of the way the rule was written, he did interfere with the goalie. It did not allow him to go post to post and push off to go to the far side. So technically, by the letter of the law, it was a goalie interference call. Now, I actually went to the game with one of my buddies who referees in the AHL. Shout out Mike Dieter. And he said instantly, oh yeah, that's getting called back. I'm like, what? Come on. It didn't really affect the outcome. He might have been involved in that area, but he didn't really be involved, did he? Instantly. No. That's going to get reversed. I know it. He was confident about it, and guess what? He was right about it. It was a weird game to go to. The atmosphere wasn't really rocking. Realistically, knowing where the standings are, the Columbus Blue Jackets coming to town should be a game where the Wells Fargo is screaming and going crazy. But at the end of the day, it's the Columbus Blue Jackets. Does that really move the needle for people? If you follow the standings heavily, it should. But at the end of the day, like realistically, it does not. It was also weird because my best friend is actually on the Columbus Blue Jackets, number 50, Eric Robinson, and I'm rooting for him the whole time, every time he's on the ice, yet I want the Flyers to win at the same time. The woman next to me, she was laughing, and she asked, who are you rooting for? Because there are times where clearly I'm rooting for an odd man rush for the Blue Jackets. If my buddy's coming down the wall, like I want him to succeed, I want him to score. But at the same time, I'm clapping when the Flyers find the back of the net. So she was laughing, like, who are you rooting for? And I told her the story, and obviously it made sense then. But it's weird. I'm torn. I want him to succeed. I want the Flyers to do well. I want the Blue Jackets and the Flyers in the playoffs. So that would make me happy. Now, there's more to talk about when it comes to this game, but we do need to hear a word from my sponsor, SeatGeek. If you are looking to buy tickets to go to a Flyers game, a hockey game, an NBA game, or any concert out there, if you use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page, you will receive $20 off of your total purchase. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code BROADS today. So it was 2-0 Flyers heading into the second period. Philippe Myers ends up finding the back of the net. It hits off a Columbus Blue Jackets player and goes into the twine. Once again, puck luck. 3-0 Fly Guys. And who ended up getting the assist on that one? Travis Sanheim and aube-kubel. Another strong performance by aube-kubel. And think about it. We mention a lot about the defensemen grabbing points, finding ways to get on the score sheet. You're talking about Myers scoring the goal. You're talking about Sanheim getting the assist. What the defense is doing as a core when it comes to scoring and getting on the sheet afterwards, it's remarkable. They are holding up more than just their end of the bargain, which is crazy. You're talking about a core that, yes, they added veteran players, but they still are very young. Ivan Provorov, very young. Travis Sanheim, Philippe Myers. You're talking about young defensemen. Now, the acquisitions of Justin Braun, Matt Niskanen, that helps. No doubt it helps solidify these guys. It helps them play stronger. But it's crazy to think about where they are on the back end when it comes to young players. They did allow a power play goal in the late second period, so the score was then 3-1. It gave Columbus a little bit of hope, a little bit of surge, but ultimately it was not enough because in the third period, Travis Konecny ends up getting his stick on a puck. Now, it was thrown on net by Robert Haig, another defenseman, and speaking of him, holy hell has he been something really solid for this team lately. He's not overwhelming some elite defenseman, but for what his role was going to be heading into this season and for what it has turned into, he has been awesome. He's been holding his own, and he's been more than just holding his own. He's been something that you can rely on, and that's crazy to say. Robert Haig made a significant jump in his career. Once again, I'm not telling you he's Nicholas Lidstrom or some fantastic Brett Burns type of defenseman, but for his identity, for what we expected him to be this season, a seventh defenseman type guy who can rotate in here and there, he's way better than that at this point, and it's awesome to watch. But getting back to the goal, Robert Haig throws the biscuit on net. It's Kevin Hayes, it's Travis Konecny. They're in the slot area. They're both throwing their sticks towards the puck. It redirects, and bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing. The Flyers are up 4-1. Flyers are not done. They find a way to score on the power play. Claude Giroux is on his knees, stick handle in the puck. He throws a mini sauce down low. This thing was unbelievable. Then it moves over to Voracek backdoor, and he rips it. There was a goalie change involved for the Blue Jackets as well as they were trying to find ways to get the team going. Somehow they were mixing lines up too. Tortorella was trying everything to get a little juice out of his team. But even though I mentioned all of those goals, right, 5 goals, you would think there would be a ton of action. It wasn't that way. There wasn't really any big hits. There wasn't really many, odd man rushes. It was weird puck bounces off Columbus Blue Jackets players into the net, or mishandling the puck and going through the 5-hole, or throwing a puck on net from the goal line and it hits off the goalie and in. They were just weird goals. But at this point of the season, just like I can't be satisfied when the Flyers do win a game, just like I can't be satisfied when the Flyers play really well but don't grab any points because right now the standings are so tight. Well, when they win a game like this and it's not pretty and they only have a handful of shots but they grab the 2 points, I am satisfied because the race is so tight. They need the 2 points. I don't care how they come right now. It doesn't matter to me if it's the ugliest game in the world. What matters is they grab the 2 points. Now, you look at the standings after the game and they slid into that third spot in the Metropolitan. But when you look at the games played, there are teams below them that have games in hand. So it's so funky and so weird to look at the standings right now because there's so much that's going to happen with the remainder of the games, and teams have games in hand, so they have more opportunities to snag more points and jump over them. But right now, it's a solid spot for them to be in, and if they're capable of beating the Blue Jackets in Columbus in the next couple of days, they play on Thursday night, that would be awesome. I mean, that would be really huge considering before these 2 games, it was a tight, close, really close battle between the two, and it would just help mini separate. Not separate to a large degree, but help separate, mini breathing room. And they need everything that they possibly can get. So when you look at it, Travis Konecny, 3-point night. Claude Giroux, 2 points. And he also now has the franchise record for power play assists with 235. One of the most underrated athletes in Philadelphia, just because he wasn't able to win the Stanley Cup, as if one player can do that when you have a dumpster fire of an organization playing 1965 hockey over the last 10 years. It's Claude Giroux's fault. Yeah, I know. I always say this, but it is the truth. Claude Giroux gets so disrespected, it's crazy. For some reason, it's his fault that the organization has been crap for his tenure. He's not Sidney Crosby. He's not a type of leader that will take a franchise and bring it to like this insane level. But that doesn't mean he's a bad captain whatsoever. He will be more respected once his career is over and time has passed. But what he's doing for this franchise, stop. I mean, it's going down in the record books as one of the best Flyers to ever put on a jersey, and people won't see it that way. And that's sad, really. Truthfully, it's sad if you don't see Claude Giroux as one of the greatest Flyers ever. It's so obvious. It hurts how obvious it is. So he makes the record books for this organization. Travis Konecny, career high points, 51. Remember what he did this offseason? He held out. He was talking to his agent. He was trying to find ways to get paid a lot of money. Alain Vigneault, early in the offseason, stated, listen, it's a business. I know how this thing works. But once training camp started to come around and TK was not involved, his tone changed. He wanted guys there. He was trying to set the tone. He was trying to build a new culture. And he was upset that Travis Konecny did not go into the building on time with everyone else. But he finally got paid. He finally got his money. And the dude has been tearing it up this season. 51 points, career high, and he also scored his 20th goal of the year tonight. He's been quieter over the last stretch or so. It hasn't been horrendous by any means, but there was a time earlier this season where he was lighting it up insanely. Now, it's not realistic to keep that type of pace, so it's understandable, but it's nice to see him get on the score sheet, grab 3 points in one game, and hopefully that can let him roll forward and maybe he can put together a big stretch of consecutive games where he's going to be dialing up points. And one person I barely even mentioned was Carter Hart. Now, nothing crazy that he had to come up with. There wasn't one remarkable save where he was just unreal and changed the whole outcome, but he did what he needed to do. He allowed 1 power play goal. Okay, not a big deal. It was a nice play by the Blue Jackets. You tip your cap to them for moving the puck well and finding ways to move Carter Hart and deliver. But at the end of the day, he wasn't tested to this high degree. But he can only do what he can possibly do. If there weren't high shots and high scoring chance type of opportunities for the Blue Jackets, then they're really not there, and he just had to make the saves that were there. He also makes things look easier than they are. Sometimes there are some big-time chances for the other team, but the way he's so poised and so smooth, just another save for Carter Hart. That's just him. That's just the young stud being able to deliver and make a big save. But it doesn't look as big as it probably is because he's so positionally sound. He continues to build that resume at the home building. The Wells Fargo Center is a place where he just feels so comfortable to the point where he brings it every night. He's tough to beat in this building. And it's crazy because it's not like the building was very loud. I am so upset with Flyers games. I've been to a handful now this season, and the energy stinks. It's like a baseball game. I've been through this earlier in the season when I was discussing how pathetic it was. It hurts. Because I remember going to games where it was so loud, let's go Flyers chants constantly. The lower bowl was half empty. It gets loud when they score. You hear the Feel the Shake song. Throughout the game, though, it's a baseball game, and it's upsetting. I don't know what happened. Truthfully, I don't know what happened with the sport or with the fan base. Don't tell me that it's because they haven't been good. Because if you know hockey, and the Flyers fan base is one. I mean, they really are this unique group of fans that are diehard and passionate for their sport. And they know the game of hockey. So there's no reason when they watch this team, they think, typical Flyers. Because this isn't typical Flyers. And I know that the hockey fans out there realize that. The people who don't realize that are the fans of the other three sports that don't put a lot of attention into hockey. So I'm more upset with the Flyers fans. Where are you? Why is it so empty? Why is the lower bowl empty when you're going up against a team like the Blue Jackets who are battling for a wild card spot with the Fly Guys? Blows my mind. It really does. The Flyers are 33-20-7. I'm so proud of the way that they play. From Sean Couturier to Jake Voracek to Kevin Hayes to the defensive core to Carter Hart to Alain Vigneault. I would have never imagined them being in this position. Here's the thing, and I talked about this on 97.3 ESPN over the weekend on the Locker Room with Billy Schweim Sunday morning. We were talking Flyers hockey, and going into the season, Billy did not believe the Flyers would make the postseason. I did as a wild card team, but the difference was I didn't expect them to be 33-20-7 to this point and be in a wild card spot. I thought the East wouldn't be this good. The East is very good. So if they had this type of record, if you told me the Flyers were going to have this type of record at this point of the season, I would say, okay, yeah, they're not a wild card team. Like, this is insane that the wild card is this type of record, but that's where the conference is right now. That's where the Metropolitan is right now. It's a legit dogfight. I expected them to be in the wild card race and in the hunt, but with a record not so strong. And when it comes to the deadline, listen, the deadline's coming up. With how good they are, I wouldn't mind going after a player, and I thought maybe Toffoli would be the move, but he ended up going to Vancouver. They're dealing with some injuries, so they made a move to get a player like Toffoli. They don't have a ton of cap space, and that's always been something that Chuck Fletcher doesn't handle the best, I'd say. That's his biggest flaw. He builds rosters, and he's not afraid to spend money. He's not afraid to go after guys, which is great. He's not great with cap, and I thought that was a concern coming into the tenure of Chuck Fletcher. But listen, look at where they are right now, so I can't complain. My point is, though, when it comes to the trade deadline, they didn't have much flexibility when it came to going out and getting a Toffoli, who is around $4 million on the books. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm also not going to make an insane splash. Now, in hockey, you can argue that once you're in, and anything can happen. So if you have a chance to make a run, if you go out and get one winger or get someone who can help the depth, you do it, because who knows if this is the year. And I do understand that logic, but I'm not going out and trading the farm or trading all these picks for a specific player for this team right now. I'm enjoying this run. I'm enjoying this ride. I don't sense this is the year for the team. Once again, you get in and you never know what can happen in this sport. So I'm kind of torn down the middle. Like, I do want to go out and get someone, even if it's not a huge name on the market, but it's someone. But at the same time, I'm not willing to give up a ton of pieces just because I feel like this is maybe one season too early for that type of move. If the right deal is there, I would attempt it, but I'm not going out of my way. I think they need help when it comes to depth with the forwards. That is where they would like to attack, maybe find a way to get another goal scorer. I mean, you looked at Toffoli before he got traded. That's the type of player. He would have been second in scoring and goals coming into this roster. So, yeah, that would help the team, no doubt. But he is shipped to Vancouver instead. So we'll see as the trade deadline is sneaking up on the Flyers and on Chuck Fletcher. I would expect, since they are in the hunt, that he would try something. I just don't know to what extent. You're hearing Jeff Carter rumors. I'm not thrilled about it. He's a very old player at this point, but he does have the goal-scoring ability. I also heard Joe Thornton, another old guy. Those players don't move the needle, but it also wouldn't hurt the team. But you can argue that maybe this squad is playing the way that it's playing, with the young guns being a factor. Joel Farabee, couple points. Aube-Kubel performing well over the last stretch that he's been in. I'm not saying those players would help. Or I'm sorry, I'm not saying those players would hurt. They can help. I guess it just comes down to what the price tag is and things like that. So we'll see what Chuck Fletcher elects to do. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I will see you next time.